Neil mute. All right, cool.
Sorry.
And it looks like we're live.
I think so. Hold on. I'm watching my YouTube channel.
Yep, I see. Well,
it says redirecting to YouTube. It looks like
hello, people. We're making sure that we know you can see us. So give us one moment, please. And thank you for your patience.
My brother's here.
Yep.
Okay, are you guys able to see this?
Oh, view stream, I see. Okay.
I'm currently watching the stream. It's working.
My mom said she could see it.
Awesome.
Awesome, thank you. All right, sorry about that. Thank you. We're 1 year into online everything, but some of it's still new. So, hey, hi there. I'm Dan Jacobs. I'm the head coach for the Roeper Forensics team, and we're just really excited to have everybody who's watching here. And just thank you. Thank you for supporting this event. Thank you for supporting the kids. And I forgot to ask where I know we have people physically in town today to see people who aren't normally nearby, who ironically still have to watch this on a long distance Zoom. But yeah, we just like to welcome everybody here. The obligatory introduction for forensics always involves informing folks who maybe have never seen forensics that this is what we do most of the year is working on ways that we can help folks connect what's in their hearts and in their minds out to the world through their mouths. And that sometimes involves their own writing and sometimes involves other people's work. But this is not the place where we deal with cadavers. This is not CSI, at least not to the best of our knowledge. So just in case you were wondering what's happening here, what's happening is the end result of, in some cases, almost a full year, in some cases actually more than a full year, of students who are working on performances with subjects that they are personally passionate about. And what we do is we have this season, the forensics season, where middle schoolers have their own season going and high schoolers have their own separate season for the most part. And we have kids who compete at anything from 1 to 10 tournaments generally in a forensic season. And the idea is that they are getting different audiences outside of the people they know, outside of our class, and getting feedback, sometimes even useful feedback from judges from across the state. And the goal is less doing amazingly competitively and more really working on personal goals as public speakers and reaching audiences, becoming less nervous on stage, discovering different ways to use their voice and body and facial expressions to connect with people and with whatever's going on inside as well. A few things of note: we do have 2 assistant coaches who also help. We have Laura Moore and Jafar Boumediene, and they've been instrumental in making sure that we have coaching slots open and folks who can work with the kids. For those of you who don't know about forensics, I don't know, what got me into forensics was that kids were almost, it seemed, being tricked, although I know they know what they're doing, into doing the analysis and critical thinking that as an English teacher, I always wanted to teach, but the kids are teaching each other and working with coaches one-on-one and discovering how they can analyze lines of literature or create their own speeches and bring those out to the world in the most effective ways. So that's a nutshell of what we do, although it covers a far deeper layers of interactions and explorations. And I also want to add, it's obvious to everyone that we've been operating differently in a pandemic. Normally, we would be in the Roeper Theater right now, and you would be out in seats. We'd be able to see each other and be able to give hugs and congratulations and all of that. And it's been for everyone on the planet, it's been a very difficult transition. The folks who are performing tonight and others who we won't be able to see tonight on our team and on teams all around the state of Michigan and around the country have really been working hard to adapt in every way, whether it's tech or getting used to looking into a camera instead of making eye contact, or not seeing the friends they've made for in some cases since 6th grade through 12th grade or 11th grade, I guess, before they went into the pandemic. And that, as you can imagine, is emotionally for all of us, it can be a very, very difficult challenge. And these folks have stuck with it and done everything they can to keep on keeping on, both for themselves and for others. And in the end, you know, by the time we got to middle school states and definitely high school states, even though we're sitting in our own spaces at these tournaments at home, and when we're done, you know, you turn off your tech and you're staring at your own table or your bedroom or whatever, this team has just been so much fun and has so much heart. We, Laura and others have set up Quiplash, is that what it is? Quiplash games, and the joking that goes on in the chats and the support, the cheers through text and through voice and face, just makes it, for a moment, you can just feel like you're together. And I think that's been a lifeline for a lot of us through this. It's been just a way to kind of feel like we're together, even when obviously we're not physically together much of the time. And I know a lot of you in the audience, you know, you've been Zooming with relatives who you had hoped to see like you normally do, but had to not see in person. And, you know, now that people are getting vaccinated and we're able to see each other in person, and I know some of you are in town who normally aren't in town, it's wonderful to have you here. I wish we could see you giving your kids the big hugs after, you know, when we're all done and the lights come up and everything, but we know you're doing it virtually. So having you watch this, whether it's right now or the recording of it, just means the world to all of us. Whether we know you're watching it or not, I believe that there's a kind of energy that we give to the world that helps pull us all together in difficult and in good times. So thank you, no matter when you're watching this and how you give to this, whether it's in your heart right now or in other ways that we never see. So that is pretty much the forensics introduction. We do have a program which, I don't know.
You'll have to just introduce them.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I don't convert well. And when I walk off the cliff of what I've sort of thought through in my head, I'm like, wait, we're not in person. I can't direct you to a program. So the rest of this is going to be you watching me try to convert from the physical world that I've been in for 25 plus years at forensics nights to the digital world, where I'll completely forget that you can't see me running back and forth talking to kids. So just to give you a sense of how the night goes, or how this order goes, we have first our middle schoolers. If you have younger folks watching, I'll try to remember to give you any warnings that we might need. There are some PG-13-ish bits of content that come up, especially with a couple of the high school pieces, although I don't know. The things kids see these days, I don't know where you are with what PG-13 is to you and your kids, but we have the middle school, 6 middle school performances going first. We're opening with Amir doing an original interpretation piece, and then we'll introduce folks after that. After the first 6, which should be, I don't know, somewhere short of an hour, we'll take a brief break, and then we'll move into the high school portion. And we have 7, is that right? 7 high schoolers performing. Yeah. And then that's probably about an hour 15. So that's what the overview looks like for today. Laura or Jafar, did you have anything?
Why did the meeting say 6 to 9?
Because you never know when forensics night will end.
Yeah. So the kids have a phrase that we got from another team, the Wall Lake West team, made a video called Pure MIFA, M-I-F-A, stands for Michigan Interscholastic Forensic Association. And Pure MIFA is a catchphrase now, that when one says, oh, that's just typical forensics. Typical Dan, also, I'll take some for this. This is Roper's Forensics Night, not a MIFA event. Things always run a bit late. There's always something unpredictable. Somebody always doesn't show up, or does show up who you didn't expect. So that's how forensics goes, and we roll with it. So yeah, you just never know. Sometimes you had an 8-minute piece on Friday night that goes 9.5 minutes on Saturday or at forensics night. So we'll just see how long this goes. All right, Laura, we had a chat. You're welcome to, this is not just to Laura, for anybody, you're welcome to have your cameras on if you want to, be a little visual audience, and to have them off or any mix thereof. If a student might ask for us, for anyone who wants to turn on their cameras, just if they have their screen up, just to get a sense of audience. But most of us have gotten used to staring into a camera and having a bunch of names in little squares around us, but it's up to you guys. So cool. All right. Any other coaches have any comments or questions? I probably forgot something.
Make this be your celebration of your evening.
Yeah, we want you to know also the warm-ups. We do warm-ups before every tournament, and we did warm-ups right before this, which is why we were running late. And it's just wonderful. We do a few lines from students' pieces, and everybody knows some of everybody's lines. It's just a wonderful moment. So here we are. Amir, you look like Amir, are you mostly ready for performing? All right. So the category Amir performed in is called Original Interpretation, or OI, or OI, if you're like an old Jewish guy. Thank you very much. I suppose that could be Scottish. And so Amir wrote this and performed it at the most recent tournament in April.
Change of plans, I'm actually doing 2 pieces.
Oh, excellent.
Like Jafar suggested.
Oh, okay, taking Jafar's suggestion. All right, then I won't make all of the introductions this long, so we can get through this before midnight. So without much more ado, we have Amir Ware.
Fred the Dead holds so much dread, for he killed his family, and now he's dead. He wishes he could take back everything he's done, and he really wants his family back so that all of them can have some fun. He really wants to know what and why he's done. He's really sorry, and well, he's dumb. He's so sad. So sad, so guilty and mad that he almost killed his living dad. But he realized what he was doing and stopped running. He stopped running from his problems and confronted them instead, and got rid of his guilt, anger, and dread. He became a scientist and brought him and his family back from the dead. Fred the Undead is happy and holds no dread, for he brought his family back to life and he is not dead. He's proud of everything he's recently done, and he has his family back and they have fun. Luckily, he managed to get away with it all. Now he's on the FBI's most wanted wall. Oh, darn. Now, a rendition of The Earth and Me. Mother Earth is beautiful. The earth is full of a lot of things, like houses, cars, fighting. The sky looks like a pool. We hear birds singing. When it rains, we see lightning. Mother Earth rules. In the world, some bees are queens. We see jets, insects, airplanes, birds, and bats flying. You're still muted.
That was excellent. And some unexpected new lines there. Congratulations on working those in.
There weren't any new lines.
Oh, it was the emphasis. It was very emphatic. That was wonderful energy. Thank you. All right. Thank you, Amir. That was wonderful. All right. Next up, we have Jamie Steinhobel, and this category is dramatic interpretation. And Jamie will give you the other information you need.
Yes, this piece is called The October Monologue from the podcast Welcome to Night Vale. The trees are dying again. You know it, I know it, and the trees know it. They have known it for decades, centuries in some cases. The shiver of cyclic and symbolic death. A rattle in the cold night air, a rustle in the footsteps of a hungry deer. It is October, and something is different. It is October, and the trees draw the crackling red and orange curtain on this year's final act. It is October, and so, listeners, dear listeners, Night Vale Community Radio is proud to introduce to you the October Monologues. What does it mean to be believed? I've always known that Night Vale isn't like other places, as I've known it as long as I can remember. I've also known that no one else could see it. Knowledge may be power, but power is often lonely. My grandfather could see. He could see that I was like him. Steve, he would say. Us Carlsbergs have always been the town pariahs, but just because they hate you does not mean they are right. I would sit at night as a kid and I would listen to Cecil on the radio. He was the same age as he is now, and at the time he had seemed so wise. But I would hear him dismiss what I knew should not be dismissed. I would hear him cover up what should be uncovered, and I would know with a child's certainty that it was wrong. I loved him still. Everyone in town loves Cecil. It is possible to love someone who you know is doing wrong. It's terribly easy, in fact. What does it mean to be believed? As a teenager, I had started trying to express what I saw about this world. I gave a presentation in my social studies class called Night Vale. There is literally nowhere like it. And, well, I personally thought it was informative, but the class all plugged their ears in unison. The teacher stopped me a minute in, glancing nervously at the 8 surveillance cameras monitoring the classroom. "Are you trying to get us all killed?" she asked. I remember that her breath smelled like strawberry Jolly Ranchers, and there was a crumb of mascara in the sweat of her temples. "No," I said. I didn't know what else to say. It's not the kind of question that demands a sincere answer. That report earned me a trip to the principal's office, and then the re-education pit, which honestly is not as bad as its name. Well, not almost as bad. It's pretty bad. It's a pit for re-education. So I certainly learned something from that re-education. I learned that you're equally likely to be punished for being right as you are for being wrong. What does it mean to be believed? I was a young man entering the workforce, and I had long ago learned to hide away what I knew about our city. I had learned the knot and the necktie, the handshake and the smile, all of the signifiers that hid what I truly signified. But I couldn't. All of life is a code. And me, well, I'd been taught the key against my will. I had gotten a job as a bank teller at the last bank of Night Vale. I had studied with great interest the townsfolk that came and went there. I learned about their lives and their secrets, and what kind of deals they made from the whispered deals out back in the quiet parking lots, pulled up next to a black sedan who contained their handler who they only knew by a false first name. You know, the usual. But I couldn't forget what I knew. I couldn't forget about this town that I loved, even if I had learned the play act that I had. I couldn't forget about this weird and secret town that I loved. What does it mean to be believed? Then I married into the family of Cecil Palmer, and he hated me because he could see that I knew. And after all these years, my mask had slipped a little. I had lost my interest in hiding. Nothing could be more threatening to Cecil. His life and livelihood that depended on speaking the truth as the city council wanted it, or as the vague yet menacing government agencies crafted it. And yet here I was, pointing out to the sky. There are glowing arrows in the sky. There are glowing lines and arrows and circles. The sky is a chart that explains the entire world. I had tried to explain this to Cecil, but it only made him hate me more. I tried to share who I was with him, but it only made him recoil. Cecil and I? Well, never mind. Abby understood me. She she listened to what I had to say, but she never did share my enthusiasm for the truth. Let it lie, she would say. Just let it lie. But that's the point. I can't let it lie, and I can't lie. We have done that for far, far too long. We've let our town sit heavy under the weight of euphemism and half-truth. And unless someone just said what they saw for once, we would be crushed eventually by that weight. Then something changed, and I was no longer alone. The others recognized that we lived in a strange place, and do you know what? We kept existing. Our world didn't end merely because we dared acknowledge it. Cecil and I? Well, we are friends now, but I haven't forgotten how he treated me. But I do forgive it, and I understand it. Forgiveness and understanding are not the same thing as forgetting. What does it mean to be believed? It means everything. It means it all. And so, as the leaves are finished, so are the upcoming monologues. All that can be said has been said, and all that can be said will be said again. Good night, Night Vale. Good night. The end.
Excellent. That was great. All right. Thank you. Thank you, Jamie. That was wonderful. I did not know that. Okay. So next up, if my calculations are correct, is Caitlin performing a storytelling piece. And just in case I wasn't crystal clear, Amir did a piece that Amir wrote. Unless otherwise noted, the pieces that students are performing by and large are not their own writing, unless we call it original interpretation, just lest you should wonder. All right, so next up is Caitlin doing a storytelling performance. Caitlin, are you good for going?
Yep.
Excellent.
I Need My Monster by Amanda Knoll. Tonight, when I looked under my bed for my monster, I found this note instead. Gone fishing, back in a week, Gabe. What was I going to do? I needed a monster under my bed. How was I supposed to get to sleep if my monster was gone? I tried to sleep, but it wasn't the same without Gabe. I missed his ragged breathing, the scrabbling of his uncut claws. How was I ever supposed to get to sleep without his familiar scary noises and spooky green ooze? It was no use. Gabe would be gone for a week, and I just had to have a monster. I climbed quietly out of bed so my parents wouldn't hear me. I knocked on the floorboards, then scrambled back under the covers. Would a new monster appear? What would he be like? When I heard creaking under the bed, I knew that the substitute monster had arrived. Good evening, said a low, breathy voice. My name is Herbert, and I will be your substitute monster for the evening. Herbert? What kind of name is that for a monster? Have you ever scared a kid before? Well, no, but I have read all the best books on the topic. Do you have long teeth and scratchy claws? No, but I have an overbite. Listen, Herbert, I just don't think this is going to work out. It's nothing personal, but I really need a monster with claws. A picky. Herbert complained. As you wish, I'll go. There was some more creaking, then Herbert was gone. Some scratching warned me that a second monster had appeared. I gathered my courage and peered over the edge of the bed. Could you stick out your tail? I whispered. Sure, but don't get scared. I peeked at the slimy tail. So far, so good. Check out these claws, kid. I was surprised to see sleekly brushed fur with smooth, shiny claws. Excuse me, I don't mean to be rude, but is that nail polish on your claws? Yes, it is. Do you have a problem with that? Yeah, I do. Huh, one, two, a picky one, she sniffed, and then she was gone. Was I being too picky? No, I knew that my monster needed to be well-clawed and menacing. The whole point of having a monster, after all, was to keep me in bed, imagining all the scary stuff that could happen if I got out. Then I heard shuffling and some slobbering. Another monster was under the bed. Hey, the name's Mac. One look at his claws proved that Mac was a big monster. Do you have a long tail? No, my tail is stumpy, Mac slurped, but I do have an unusually long tongue. And why would I be afraid of a long tongue? Oh, I don't know, he said, trying to sound terrifying. You never know when I might lick you. I fell back on my bed laughing. I really don't you should send me away, he warned. Kids are adept monsters. I did not. My regular monster went fishing. Well, maybe he just left because you're so picky. Fine, I'm out of here. But I wouldn't expect another monster tonight if I were you. How was I ever going to get to sleep without my monster? I was surprised to hear more creaking under the bed. Loud creaking with scratching. I thought no more monsters were going to appear tonight, I said. Sorry I'm late, kid. Whew. It was Gabe. I thought I would enjoy fishing, but I didn't. Those fish scare too easily. No challenge at all. Now, if you don't mind, I'd like to start the evening with an ominous puddle of drool. I peered over the edge of the bed. Green ooze spread soundlessly from underneath. Now, if you could please stick out your foot, I'd like to nibble your pinky. I yanked my blankets up and scrunched my feet in so Gabe couldn't get them. No toast tonight, I said. But you can have this, I offered, pushing a pillow off the bed. I didn't even hear it hit the floor. So, you had some substitute monsters tonight? Gabe said, sharpening his claws on my bedpost. Were you scared? No other monster can scare me like you, I giggled. I heard Gabe's soft, comforting snorts. Ha! I knew it. We were made for each other, he growled. Gabe was back. The ooze was perfect. Everything was back to normal. I shivered. I'd be asleep in no time.
All right, thank you, Caitlin. That was excellent. Really fun storytelling piece. Love the accents and everything. All right, next up is Rocco doing an original interpretation piece, and I maybe it helps to mention, or it's probably self-evident, but original interpretation pieces often you can see the inner workings of the performer's mind, the artiste, and the piece often reflects the personality of the performer. So keep that in mind while Rocco performs the next piece, this original interpretation, which I'm pretty sure Rocco introduces. Rocco, are you good to go? Oh, okay.
I'm ready.
Oh, there you are. Yes, I'm sorry. All right. Don't forget to turn on your camera.
Oh, yeah, I forgot that.
Represent Spider-Man.
Despite popular belief, this piece was not written by Peter Parker.
Mm.
All right. Hi, everybody. Have you heard of Jack and the Beanstalk? You have? Cool. I'm Gunther, Jack's brother, and I know what you're thinking. Jack didn't have a brother, you nincompoop. Well, he did, but he just failed to include me. Gunther, Doofus, Jack. The name Doofus runs in the family. I'm a big conspiracy theorist, so that's why I wear this tinfoil hat so the government can't read my thoughts. By the way, it's an invisible tinfoil hat. Let's just say I've been in contact with a few extraterrestrials. Also, the Earth is flat and Australia doesn't exist. Anywho's, it all started on the morning of September 15th, 1984. And our mother told us to sell our cow, Kevin. But Mom, I don't want to sell Kevin, Jack said in a whiny tone. Please sell me, you moron, said Kevin. Jack was much more of a wimp in real life. Jack finally surrendered and decided that he was going to have to sell Kevin. Dun dun. Big whoop. Kevin was never nice to me. He was just a big grumpster. I don't understand why Jack likes him so much, but whatever. So we went to go and sell Kevin when a stranger came up to us. And he was like, hey, kids, you want to buy some beans? Ugh, beans. Such an awful specimen of the food kind. And then Jack piped up, hey, man, I would take your beans, but you're like a creepy stranger guy. It kind of looked like you want to kill me, so I don't want any of your creepy beans. And then Stranger Bro said, these beans are magic, bro. We'll take them. If you want these beans, you're going to have to give me that cow. Whoa, whoa, whoa. I'm not just going to give some Joe Schmo my cow. Hey, my name is Carl. Okay, Carl, but here's a knuckle sandwich also. And then Quachow, boom, bam, bop. He karate-defied Stranger Man and ran off with the screaming Kevin and the magic beans. So we planted the beans, and the next day we were like, whoa, dude, that's a big beanstalk, cause plot twist, the beans were magic. Jack said, first one to get to the top is awesome. And I replied, well, I'm going to get to the top because I'm awesome. And Kevin said, you imbeciles, I will die if I go up there. That is a cow-killing beanstalk. And we just ignored Kevin because he's just a cow. We climbed and climbed and climbed some more. Kevin was getting gradually stabbed by the thorns of the beanstalk. Once we got up there, we found a village of giants. They had these really dingy and dank tin shacks. Kevin was screaming because he was like mutilated or something, and maybe his guts were showing or something, but whatever, he's just a cow. Jack decided to challenge Jerry the Giant to a singing contest because, is this thing on? Jack thinks he is really good at singing, but he really sounds like a dying yak. Jerry the Giant agreed. Jerry the Giant was my favorite because he was the nicest and only smelled slightly like dead mollusk. And so Jack started singing The Final Countdown by Europe. And Jerry started singing Never Gonna Give You Up by Rick Astley. And get this, bro, he won. I kept rubbing it in Jack's face like, na 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 boo boo, you are a fool fool. And then Jack let out a scream of agony, agony, agony. He wanted it to sound like a medieval war cry, but it ended up sounding something like, ah. It hurt the giant's ears real bad, though, when they started to try and kidnap us. We ran away and stole a golden goose who lays golden eggs. We then climbed down the beanstalk and realized we could make a fortune with these golden eggs. So we took it to a pawn shop, and the pawn shop guy was like, "Oh, yeah, man, these eggs are spray painted." What? Impossible. It's laying eggs. You see that? Yeah, but it has a spray paint can inside it. What did you say? Yeah, it's a phony. No! We risked our lives for nothing? Well, yeah, that's what it looks like. Shut up! We ran back to our house as fast as humanly possible. We picked up some axes, which were disturbingly convenient. And we chopped down the beanstalk. Choppy, choppy. We then went inside to relax. I can't believe it. This whole debacle is done. What's a debacle? I replied, extremely confused. Don't worry about it. Then our mother came in. Hey kids, did you sell Kevin? At that moment, we remembered our bovine friend. We both exclaimed at the same time, Kevin! The end.
All right, that was an action-packed original interpretation piece, originally written by Rocco himself. Thank you. That was a lot of energy packed into a beanstalk-filled adventure.
Yeah, I had a lot of energy after that candy.
That's right. Thank you, Laura, for providing the fuel for our
Thank
for
you.
performances tonight. Next up, we have Neil, who will be performing a prose piece. I don't know. It's a good piece to teach kids how adults really are deep inside. Okay, maybe not. Neil, you can do your own introduction. Jafar, don't look perplexed. It's true, and you know it. Neil, are you feeling prepared to commence? Oh, there you are. Indeed.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
You sound like I surprised you. Are you good to go?
Yeah.
All right. Next up, just so Mira's up on deck after Neil.
If I start screaming about murder, I'm not actually gonna murder someone. Just for
Oh.
clarification.
Oh, I thought this was informative or something. Okay, go ahead.
Down, children, do them in. Boil their bones and fry their skin. Bish them, squish them, bash them, lash them, break them, shake them, slash them, smash them. The Witches, by Rob Dahl. Witches of Inkland, shouted the Grand High Witch. Miserable witches, useless, lazy witches, feeble, fribbling witches, you are a heap of idle, good-for-nothing worms. I am having my breakfast this morning, and I am looking out the window at the beach. And what am I seeing? I ask you, what am I seeing? I am seeing a revolting sight. I am seeing hundreds, I am seeing thousands of rotten, repulsive little children. It is putting me right off my food. Why have you not got rid of them? Why have you not rubbed them all out? These filthy, smelly little children. I am asking you why. Children smell. They stink up the world. One child a week is no good to me. Is that the best you can do? We will do better. We will do much better. Better is no good either. I demand maximum results. So here are my orders. My orders are that every single child in this country shall be rubbed out, squashed, sklittered and frittered in 1 year's time. Do I make myself clear? Yes, wipe them away, scrub them off the earth, flush them down the drain. So now, I am having a plan. I am having a gigantic plan for getting rid of every single child in the whole of England. Whoopee! You are brilliant, your grandness. You are fantabulous. Shut up and listen. Listen very carefully. Each and every one of you will be going out and you will be buying. What will we be buying? Tell us, oh brilliant one, what is it we shall be buying? Sweet shops! Sweet shops? We're gonna buy sweet shops. The next move is that each of you will be announcing in the window of your shop that on a certain day you will be having a great gala opening with free sweets and chocolates to every child. Next, you will prepare yourselves for this great gala opening by filling every chocolate and every sweet with my latest and greatest magic formula. This is known as Formula 86 Delayed Action Mouse Maker! Delayed Action Mouse Maker? How do we make it, oh brilliant one? First, I'm explaining to you how my formula is working. Formula 86 is a delayed action mouse maker. Is a green liquid, and one droplet will be quite enough. So here is what happens. Child eats chocolate with delayed action mouse maker liquid. Child goes to bed, feeling fine. Formula, you understand, is delayed action, and it is not working yet. We understand, oh brainy one. But when does it start working? It is starting to work at exactly 9 o'clock when the child is arriving at school. Child arrives at school, delayed action mouse maker immediately starts to work. Child is starting to shrink. Child is starting to grow fur. Child is starting to grow tail. All is happening in precisely 26 seconds. After 26 seconds, child is not a child any longer. It is a mouse. Classrooms will be swarming with mice. And what is happening next in every school? Tell us, oh brainy one. Mousetraps is coming out. Mousetraps and cheese. Teachers are getting mousetraps, basting them with cheese, and putting them all over the school. Mice is nibbling cheese. And mousetraps is going snappity snap. Mouse heads are rolling across the floors like marbles. All over England, in every school. In England, the noise of snapping mousetraps will be heard. Offer chalks with magic powder. Cram them full of sticky eats. Send them home still guzzling sweets. And in the morning, little fools go marching off to separate schools. The girl feels sick and goes all pale. She cries, "Hey, look! I've grown a tail!" A boy who's standing next to her screams, "Help! I think I'm growing small!" 4 tiny legs began to sprout from everybody round about. And all at once, all in a thrice, There are no children, only mice.
That was great. Yeah, just for folks who have never been to, that was good. That was great, Neil. That for anyone who's never been to a tournament in person, what's normally happening before the rounds start, and students perform these usually at least 3 times during the day. But in the morning, there are traditionally 150 to 400 middle school students practicing their pieces at full tilt to the wall. And I just want you to picture walking into a school, rounding a corner to that at about 7:30 in the morning. that gives you a sense of the forensics experience.
The chat was just going off as I was performing. I was trying my hardest not to laugh.
Okay. Yes. It's a multimedia experience in 2021. All right. Thank you, Neil. Next up is Mira, and Lauren is on deck. And Mira, I'm sorry, I keep flipping between screens. Are you prepared for a performance? There you are. All right.
Yes.
Excellent.
Okay.
All right.
A memory. I'm 3. We are home in our house in Kosovo. I'm sitting on my father's lap, playing, patting his cheeks, running my fingers along his jawline, and discovering something. A difference. You have rusty cheeks, I announce. And then I caress my own face, my own jawline, my own neck. My skin is smooth. My father laughs and gently pats my cheeks. You are young and new and beautiful, he says. And I need a shave. We play a while longer until I curl my hand into a fist and pop my father right on the nose, surprising him, making his eyes water, surprising myself that I can surprise him. I throw my arms around his neck and press my smooth cheek against his rusty one. My father laughs again, louder than before. You are young and beautiful and strong too, ready for the world. Look out, world. Like countless wars, the Kosovo War uprooted the lives of almost 1 million people, many of whom fled the country. This poetry collection details the life of a girl who fled from Kosovo after the war scarred her, both visibly and invisibly. But she isn't prepared for the amount of hate that America houses, even so close to her new home. Something About America by Maria Testa. Lucky. That's us. It does not matter if your house was swept up by fire, with your 4-year-old daughter trapped inside. It's very simple. Lucky means we got out alive. If fire can be kind, then my fire was kind to me. Stopping just below my chin. Stopping just below my jawline. Leaving my face untouched. Now I'm 13. I'm a typical American schoolgirl, happy to be in 8th grade. Our class is a slice of America, a slice of American style, in scarves and head coverings and baseball caps. We speak in slang and accents and silence. I have 2 languages in my head and no accent on my lips, and a colorful collection of scarves I wear around my neck, for fashion, to be pretty. My choice, my story. I had never really thought about Lewiston before. It was always just a city somewhere north of here. Smaller, quieter, nowhere. Then all the adults in the neighborhood started talking to each other in short, clipped sentences. A hate group chose Lewiston as a place to have a meeting of people who hate people who come from different places, a meeting of people who say they love America, but hate my slice of America. My school, my neighborhood, my mother, my father, me. And suddenly, Lewiston was somewhere. And then some people nobody saw came to our neighborhood in the middle of the night and dropped leaflets everywhere, all around my school, all around my street, all around my house, like they knew just where we lived. My father tore up every leaflet he could get his hands on. he ripped them all into shreds, inviting our neighbors to join him. Before long, the neighborhood was covered with tiny pieces of confetti. Like what had happened in the middle of the night was some kind of twisted block party and not an invasion. My father grabbed anyone who would listen. How dare they do this in this country? This isn't supposed to happen in America. I watched and listened to my mother, my father, and my neighbors. And when no one was looking, I read a leaflet. This isn't supposed to happen in America. In America, people are not supposed to say, to write, to believe that there are too many immigrants, dark-skinned people, Muslims, Jews. People are not supposed to say, to write, to believe that America is not for everyone. But people do. They say it, write it, believe it, live it. And then they come into your neighborhood, close enough to drop a leaflet, close enough to set your house on fire. It was my father's idea to sign us up for the rally. A meeting in one part of Lewiston should be met with a rally in another part. Fear should be met with courage, lies with truth. Our rally turned into a celebration, a gathering of more than 6,000 people, crowding into the sports arena, standing in the aisles, spilling into the streets. Everyone from everywhere who had the courage to tell a story of coming to America. Everyone has a story. Everyone has known happiness and hope, fear and sadness. Everyone in America is a citizen of the world. Our rally was a standing moment, but across town, only 30 people showed up at the meeting that started it all. And the best part was that hundreds of other people had gathered outside that meeting, singing and chanting, so that the hate people didn't feel so good or safe about trying to have a meeting in Lewiston after all. My father was quiet during the bus ride home. I closed my eyes and sat close to him again, enjoying the warmth, comfort, the dreams. Then I heard my father speak, softly, powerfully to me. All the world's sadness is in America. I opened my eyes to look at him. I know, I said, because it was the truth. We all bring our sadness to America with us. My sadness is here, my father said, touching his chest. Then he touched my head, my shoulders, my heart. Not here. Then he ran his fingers along my arm, along my jaw, along my arms, along my scars. Not here. Remembering, I am 3. Rusty cheeks, I said softly. I remember rusty cheeks. I watched my father's face crash, but he did not look away, and I loved him. You were young, and beautiful, and strong, ready for the world.
Great job, Mira. Thank you. That was wonderful. And Mira, just a shout out. Mira's bat mitzvah is tomorrow. So Mira's got a busy. I know a lot of people have busy weekends. I also know how busy that can be. And just a shout out to the folks. Mira, can you tell me where your folks are in from? Your family?
They're coming in from Philadelphia. Well, they came in.
They came in. Yeah, they're in. They're here already from Philadelphia. Right. Yeah, that's where it was. Yeah. So welcome in from Philly, and glad to have you in town for 2 really good sets of performances. So, all right. Next up is Lauren. And closing off this segment, we have a high school segment coming up after this. We'll take a 10-minute break and then go into the high school segment of the evening. But we have Lauren Madison performing as our closing middle school act. Lauren, are you ready to go? Oh, there you are. Okay.
Hi.
Excellent. Whenever you're ready.
Sorry, old habits that hard. Audience ready. Thank you. Don't believe my words. They're lies that I fabricate to project a perfect life and convince you that I'm okay. Don't trust the smile that you see. It's a facade to conceal searing pain, acute shame, sheer heartache. Don't get fooled by my laughter. It is merely an echo of hollow insides yearning for senses to return. Don't get convinced by my clarity, an order born in an attempt to control the chaos and pacify the storm brewing inside. Don't be blinded by the perfection I exude, the courage I fake, the innocence I feign, the confidence I wear. For I am broken. For anyone who is broken, outside help is never meaningless. Let others gently bring you back into the light, showing you how to move on, turning your pain into freedom and wisdom. Words can be the most powerful form of love. A poetry program with poems by Rachel Devenish Ford, Tara Hardy, Tino Villanueva, and Daphne Gottlieb. You are not finished in the long story of your life. You are curled like a leaf under the light of God's regard, gentle eyes, tender gaze. You are on a hillside in the late afternoon, all the grass is bending towards you, the spirit song reaching for you. Look up. That sky is yours. Look at the blue of it. You are loved, and this great expanse offers itself to you. Your words can fill it. Your singing can exult there, even after a whole notebook of tired days, the scattered papers of years. You are delightful and cared for and new. Will you soften into the hillside? Will you let your bones rest? Lay your heart down and forget your attempts to wring what you wanted out of these days. Forget the ways you faltered and flailed. Look at you now, so beautiful among the flowers. Take that thing that happened to you. Open it like a concealed rose. Hold it up to the nose of someone else. Let them tell you that you still smell sweet. So sweet. Let that person who loves you pluck petals out of the gully of your wound. Let her shave them to points and sail them back into your heart like paper airplanes. For that fist at the center of your pulse is what you have always been made, despite your fingers being tipped in thorn. Use them now to shred the sheets, shred the night. No one needs to sleep under that much cover or on that much polite. Split the sky. Let the gods fall out. The ones that could have let that thing happen to you in the first place. Catch them in your pockets, catch them in your chest. Put the gods back in your chest. God after God after God until you know yourself. Again. Repeat. Take that rose, the one your flesh wounds around. Open it and open it and open it. Toss bits of your scar into the air like wedding rice or birdseed. Let some of them sprout. Sprout into so much green it makes your shins hurt with how much you want to run forward. And meet the new world without those red whorls, those old scars, those stuck stitches in your side. And we will marvel at your silhouette. My will say, my. Doesn't she run like an unflowering? Listen, you who transformed your anguish into healthy awareness, put your voice where your memory is. You who swallowed the afternoon dust, defend everything you understand with words. You, if no one else, will condemn with your tongue the erosion each disappointment brings. You who saw the images of disgust growing, understand how time devours the destitute. You who gave yourself your own commandments, know better than anyone why you turned your back on your town's toughest limits. Don't hush. Don't throw away the most persistent truth as our hard-headed brethren sometimes do. Remember well what your life was like. Cloudiness and slick mud after a drizzle. Flimsy windows and the wind kept rattling in winter. And that unheated slab, dwelling where coldness crawled up into your clothes. Tell how you were able to come to this point, to unbar history's doors, to see your early years, your people, the others, Name the way rebellion's calm spirit has served you, and how you came to unlearn the lessons of that teacher, your land's omnipotent defiler. Take this as yours. Rip it from the book, make a copy, fold it in half and half again, and put it in your wallet or between the mattress and the box spring or taped underneath the desk so it is there. If. Know this. What happened to your body, to your head, to your heart is not your fault. It is not something you caused or deserved. It's like blaming yourself for someone hitting your hand with a hammer. If that person is you, put the hammer down. Let it be an accident. Let it be the end. The body, the heart, brain knows how to heal, how to knit back together, how to suture and secure. Let it do what it does. Your body is yours. Your body will always be yours. You are not what happened. Your whole life is not just this. You do not speak a language made of this. This is not your name. Your name is your own. Let your name be the name of someone who can do the unthinkable, who stands up and keeps moving. You are standing. You are taking a shower and eating breakfast. You are going to classes or going to work. You are doing impossibly hard things. Keep going and keep going. And there is summer. Laugh, even if it is with rage. Open your mouth and your fists. Tell the truth. Tell a friend. Listen to someone else's heart. It is beating a miracle. You are both here. When scars are new, they shine. Be all the glitter you need.
Hello. It's nice ending with two powerful poems. Thanks. Thank you. Thank you, Lauren. Thank you, Mira. And thank you to all the middle schoolers who just performed. You guys are wonderful. We always tell our performers that forensics night is the big night, more important than any other performance, including, of course, the tournaments, because this is where they have the opportunity to share this with you. So if you're sticking around, great. If you're not, thank you for joining us. And we really appreciate, again, all the support.
Should I leave this going or should I?
I'd say
I hate to turn it off. I'll let it continue to go. So
can I use the screen to set up my little
Yes.
visual?
Oh, yeah.
Cool.
All right.
Cool.
Turn off your camera and I'll just leave it going.
You could stay in the YouTube video if you want to watch me set up.
I won't spotlight you, Charlotte. They shouldn't be able to see you.
It'll be like a real tournament. Or like on stage. You're just setting up in the wings during intermission.
Amazing.
Okie dokie. All right, gang. I know it's not quite 10 solid minutes. I do want to give a second introduction in general in case anybody is tuning in just for the high school portion. So we'll have an informative by Charlotte coming up when I'm done in about a minute and a half or two. But yeah, if you're just coming into this, if for some reason in the future we edited this into a separate middle and high school cut, this is our forensics night, the Roeper Forensics Team Forensics Night. This is the high school portion. We just completed the middle school portion and had every one of them wonderful performances by our middle schoolers, and are very excited about our upcoming high school performances. Some of these folks that you're going to see have been working on and or performing their pieces for over a year, or 2 years, yeah, a year and a half. And I think that that's a testament to the passion that they have for the activity, for the subject, and frankly, for each other. Just I know a number of folks have been doing this because their friends are in it and because it's something they enjoy doing with their friends. And so it's wonderful to see folks through middle school to high school, which we also have on our team. I'm looking at the names here in high school. We have a number of people who started as tiny babies and are here now as seniors, juniors, fresh people, and sophomores. Sorry, sophomores. So anyhow, this is public speaking. During the regular year, these folks are doing competitive public speaking. As I mentioned in the first introduction, we focus far less on the competitive part than we do on the speaking and feeling and overall communicating parts of things here. So that's just your very brief intro if you're just tuning in. Besides that, pretty much this is self-explanatory, or we'll give brief explanations before each speech, but just enjoy. And I'll give somebody remind me if I don't do it, a PG-13 warning, which definitely does not apply to this unless you don't like adult fish material, but I think it should be fine. All right, Charlotte, we are ready to begin our second half.
Hi. Okay. It's very strange because I can hear in the distance everything that's been said about 3 minutes ago, which is super fun. So a quick bit of necessary information before I get started. This year I competed in a category known as informative, and in informative there is a weird and terrible unspoken rule that no piece is complete without at least 17 puns. As you will see, I decided to take a different approach. So let's get on with that. Okay. Welcome aboard the SS Fission Ship Submarine. Thank you for joining me on today's tour of the creatures that live in our ocean. We only have 8 minutes for our journey today, so we are going to visit some of the amazing animals that live in the most exciting and least discovered part of our oceans, the deep sea. Our oceans make up 70% of our planet, but we have only explored around 20%. According to reference.com, scientists believe there are over 1 million species of animals and plants living in our oceans. Some speculate there are 9 million species that have not yet been discovered. Before we begin our journey to visit just a few of these elusive creatures of the deep, let me tell you what you can expect. At 130 feet below the surface, you will no longer be allowed to leave the submarine, because the pressure from the water above could crush you like a soda can. At only 650 feet, we will turn on the overhead lights, as the sun will no longer be able to reach us. Once we make it to 12,000 feet, the temperature outside will be near freezing. But there is no need to worry, as the fish and chips is climate controlled to make sure you are always comfortable during our trip. Just as a reminder, the fish and chips is an all fun, no pun zone. So feel free to store all puns below your seat until we exit the submarine. The captain has given us the green light and we are ready to depart. Make sure to keep your eyes open as we make our descent into the abyss. You may just see a sea creature that only a few people have ever seen before. We are now reaching 300 feet below the surface. And if you will join me in looking out the front window, you will get a chance to see our first creature, the deep sea anglerfish. National Geographic describes the anglerfish as possibly the ugliest animal on the planet. But if you are brave enough to look beyond the surface, you will see it is actually quite beautiful. Look, its lure is full of living bioluminescent bacteria that give it a haunting glow. And its giant jaws are adorned with sharp, translucent teeth, making it truly a sight to behold. Little is known about these elusive deep-sea predators, as only about half a dozen have ever been captured on film. What we do know is that this beautiful specimen is a female, as the male angler is significantly smaller than the female. Male anglers spend their days searching for a mate. When they find one, they use their sharp teeth to bite into the side of the female, eventually fusing into her. In the process, the male loses his internal organs, including brain and eyes. The males live their lives as parasitic passengers, releasing sperm and sucking out the female's nutrients. On the other hand, the females get their food by using their bioluminescent lure as bait. Fish follow the angler's mysterious light, hoping it's something to eat, but find themselves inhaled into the angler's mouth. The angler's mouth is humongous and has a flexible body that allows them to eat prey up to twice their size. This means the over 3-foot-long deep-sea anglerfish could definitely eat you. But there is no need to worry, as we have a strict policy to not feed our tourists to the fish. If the teeth of the angler are a bit too much for you, this next creature might be more your speed. We are now going to quickly dive down to 13,000 feet below to see the significantly less terrifying, but just as magical cephalopods, Dumbo octopuses, which really is the correct plural form of octopus. Look, there he is. You can see why they're called Dumbos, as the fins on top of their head make them resemble the Disney elephant, although they might just be cuter. Dumbo octopuses use those fins to paddle along while their tiny tentacles steer. There are over 17 known species of Dumbos, and while this little guy is orange, they come in a variety of colors, including white, brown, and pink. They also have the ability to flush, which means change their color to match their surroundings. Unlike other octopuses, they don't have any ink sacs, as their predators probably couldn't see them this deep anyways. Instead, they use their webbed tentacles to appear larger than they actually are. This is why they are also called umbrella octopuses, as when they spread out, they sort of look like squishy umbrellas. Their eyes are huge. Their diameter is over 1/3 the width of their head. These giant eyes can't see very well, so instead they use sensors on their suckers to detect the world around them. We should probably head out now and let this little guy go back to using his sensors in the dark. Our time is running out, but don't worry, we still have time to see one more fantastic beast as we head towards the surface. We are now reaching 8,500 feet below, the perfect place for spotting a chimera. There it is. The chimera's namesake is the three-headed Greek mythological creature, which has the heads of a lion, a goat, and a serpent. The chimera fish looks like it was stitched together from different parts as well. These stitches are actually lateral lines, sensors that can detect vibrations in the water. On the chimera's head, these lines become sensors that can detect electrical fields, which means even if you were staying perfectly still, the chimera could find you. Don't worry though, these mysterious 4.5-foot fish are not in search of human flesh. Their bones are made of cartilage, like sharks, but unlike sharks, their teeth are not made for ripping or tearing. Instead, they have 3 tooth plates protruding from their mouths to crush and grind the shells of their prey. They are related to other cartilaginous fish, like sharks and rays, but they split off from them over 400 million years ago. That's 10 million years before the first fish emerged from the water, and they haven't really changed since, making the chimera a perfect window into what life would have looked like in prehistoric times. Now that we are headed back to the surface, please remember to visit the gift shop, where you can pick out some deep sea goodies for the whole family. I want to thank you all for coming on this journey of the deep sea with me today. You folks were brave enough to go where only a small number of people have ever gone before. You experienced the hidden beauty of the anglerfish, the magic of the Dumbo octopus, and the strangeness of the chimera. Since I know that everyone can't come and visit my submarine all the time, I invite you to continue your curiosity by watching the EV Nautilus YouTube channel, which has actual footage from a deep sea research team and was one of the things that started my passion. You can also visit an aquarium, such as the Shed in Chicago or the Belle Isle Aquarium. Although they can't have fish like we visited today, you can still see some of the amazing creatures that live closer to the surface. Hopefully this tour will be just the beginning of your deep sea adventure. With so much of our ocean still left to explore, who knows, maybe you'll be the one to make the next great discovery.
Thank you, Charlotte. That was wonderful. A fine tour. But where were the puns?
I gave a disclaimer. How many disclaimers do they need?
Hundreds, Charlotte. Every
Show wildlife.
No, it's wonderful to see you. Oh, and I'd like to mention, since there's no space in the speech, I suppose, or at least timing wise to mention it. Charlotte, you've used sort of this passion for deep sea life and fish, sort of synergistically with forensics to inform younger kids too, right?
Yeah, I taught ocean themed art class, which was really fun. And I really wanted to show them this piece, but I could not get them to all sit and watch something for 8 minutes.
Right.
But I spread the information throughout.
Yes, very good. Yeah, and that's one of our hopes, is that folks will find applications in addition to forensics for what they do here. So it's always awesome when that happens. All right. Next in our list is Hannah. Laura, are we sharing? Wait.
Yes, I'm planning on sharing it from my screen. I'm just pulling it up right now.
All right. And if anybody else who's got the YouTube version going, because we're looking at this from our perspective in the Zoom, or at least a lot of us are, if you could put something in the chat about how the sharing is showing up in YouTube from your end, that would be great once it starts. Thanks.
The first time we said hello, it felt as though pterodactyls were flapping their wings against the corridors of my stomach. That day, Cupid didn't have an arrow large enough to hold a love this size, so he hijacked a plane and flew it into my chest. You make me want to jump off the highest building in the city just to prove I'm invincible with you next to me. I'm saying, like, don't text me or instant message me. Trust that it's important that I hear your voice today. It's crucial that we speak today. And if I was to say I really, really, really wanted to get to know you, would just be an understatement. Me. I want to pour your thoughts in a wine glass and sip them slow and strong like I'm going on vacation. I want to light candles and bathe for hours in secrets that you just never had the courage to say out loud already. I'm ready to grab onto your dreams and jump into a pool head first, just to see if hope still floats. I want to float next to you. I'm talking 10 feet above cumulus clouds so no one can rain on our parade. The saga of falling in and out of love, a tale that those of all ages can understand. From the moment you lay eyes on someone and know the story that is bound to unravel, and the last time you do, knowing your journey has come to an end. We Never Meant to Hurt Each Other, a poetry program. Pieces by Rudy Francisco and Andrea Gibson. You see, if I could, I would sing a song for you. If I could, I would write you a poem. If I could, I would sample your smile and let my heart beat the bass line. And we could create the greatest music whenever we stand next to each other. Love, I was the only one made for you, or you can be At Last by Etta James, or I will be the Ooh Child whenever you are in pain, or you can be candy-coated drops of rain, although it doesn't rain in Southern California. And we could be music. So if your friends ask if you're my girlfriend, I'll say no. She's my musician. And me, I guess you could say I'm her favorite song. She lives in my thoughts and she visits in my dreams, so I see her at night and then I see her again during the day, and whether or not she physically passes my way, the day that we met begins to play and rewind in my mind at least one time every 30 minutes. That's like 48 times a day. That's like 336 times a week, and she makes me weak in my knees and I can hardly speak like that old tune song. As I stand here, like a deer in the headlights of her beauty, and before she sleeps, she sets the needs of my soul with the melodies of her voice. She was the first girl to make my palms moist just by walking next to her. And I know what you're thinking, I'm just some lovesick fool, but tell me, what would you do if you saw the most beautiful flower? I mean, a flower so beautiful that a mere glance doesn't suffice because it entices you to get closer. Would you pursue it? I wish you were here. Autumn is the hardest season. The leaves are falling, and they're falling like they're falling in love with the ground, and the trees are naked and lonely. I keep trying to tell them new leaves will come around in the spring, but you can't tell trees those things. They're like me. They just stand there and don't listen. I wish you were here. I've been missing you like crazy. I've been hazy-eyed staring at the bottom of my glass, thinking of a time when it was once so full. It's like we were tapping the moon for moonshine, or sticking straws in the center of the sun, sipping like Icarus would forever kiss the bullets from our guns. The winter I told you I think icicles are magic, you stole an enormous icicle from a neighbor's shingle and gave it to me as a gift. I kept it in my freezer for 7 months, until the day I hurt my foot. I needed something to reduce the swelling. Love isn't always magic. Sometimes it's just melting. Or it's black and blue where it hurts the most. Last night, I saw your ghost pedaling a bicycle with a basket towards a moon as full as my heavy head, and I wanted nothing more than to be sitting in that basket. Like E.T. with my glowing heart glowing right through my chest and my glowing finger pointing in the direction of our home. Two years ago, I said I never want to write a breakup poem. The first week you were gone, I kept seeing your hand wave goodbye, like a windshield wiper in a flooding car. In the last real moments, I believed the hurricane would let me out alive. Yesterday, I carved your name into the surface of an ice cube and held it against my chest till it melted into my aching pores. Love isn't always magic. Tonight, I begged another stage light to become that back alley street lamp we danced beneath. The night your warm mouth fell on my timid cheek as I sang, "Maybe I need you," off key but in tune. Lover, I smashed my glass slipper to build a stained glass window for every wall inside my chest. Now my heart is a pressed flower and a tattered Bible. It is the one verse you can trust. So I'm putting all my words in a collection plate. I'm setting the table with bread and grace. My knees are bent. Like the corner of a page, I'm saving your place. I know we never meant to hurt each other. Now the sky clicks from black to blue and dusk looks like a bruise. I've been wrapping one-night stands around my body like wedding bands, but none of them seem to fit in the morning. They just slip off my fingers and slip out the door, and all that lingers is the scent of you. I once swore if I threw that scent in a wishing well, all the wishes in the world would come true. Do you remember? Do you remember the night I told you I've never seen anything more perfect than snow falling in the glow of a streetlight? Electricity bowing to nature, mind bowing to heartbeat. This is going to hurt bowing to I love you. I still love you, like moons love the planets they circle around. I think of happy when I think of you, so wherever you are, I hope you're happy. I really do. I hope the stars are kissing your cheeks tonight. I hope you finally found a way to quit smoking. I hope your lungs are open and breathing your life. I hope you're smiling like God is pulling at the corners of your mouth, because I might be naked and lonely, shaking branches for bones, but I'm still time zones away from who I was the day before we met. You were the first mile where my heart broke a sweat, and I wish you were here. I wish you'd never left. But mostly, I wish you well. I wish you my very, very best.
My goodness. That was great. All right. Hannah's not in the Zoom, right? All right. Well, to Hannah, in case she watches this, that was an excellent, like, we often talk with students about making sure that they keep in touch with real feelings in themselves and to perform it with a connection to whatever it is that they've chosen or they've written. And I think you're seeing a lot of that tonight. So it's just wonderful to see it this time of year when everybody's usually pretty tired and often burnt out. Warms the cockles of my heart. All right. Right. Next up is Ruby, who I can see is getting everything in place.
Awesome. Hopefully.
Yep. And I don't know. I guess this is one of the PG-13 ones. I guess some drug references. There you go. I feel like I've done my public service announcement duty. Ruby, you feeling ready?
Yeah.
All right. Ready when you are.
Alrighty. I think someone said this earlier, but it is very weird not to say judging time or ready when you start. Okay. It is such a pleasure to welcome the legendary Judy Garland, and I must say you look delightful. Oh, thank you. Judy, may I begin by asking, we're always reading of your private life in the papers, often very dramatic stories. How much of this should we believe? Oh, all of it, darling, all of it. Otherwise, it's just no fun. If you knew how dull and ordinary my life was in reality, you all would be so bored. Judy Garland, a legend of the American stage and screen. As Judy prepares for her comeback concerts in the winter of 1968, just 6 months before her death, She struggles with addiction, autonomy, and the price of stardom. End of the Rainbow by Peter Quilter. It's smaller. I've stayed here before. This room has shrunk. It's the little things I remember, not the big picture. I'll tell you what, you get a couple of those hotel glasses that you use to clean your teeth. Fill them with water from the tap. Who needs champagne? Shut your eyes and we'll hardly notice the difference. I'm fine. Pull yourself together. I am not going to jump. Look at them down there. Like little ants craning their necks, all excited. You think they want me to jump? Is that what they're waiting on? Give them something to talk about when they get home. Tell them I was driven to despair by the size of this hotel room. What are you doing here anyway? Oh, we had a rehearsal. Well, no one told me. You still want to do it? I'm not spread across the sidewalk, so life goes on. No. To Mickey Deans, my husband-to-be, who I love so much I could just explode. Cheers, darling. Whenever I drink water, I always feel like I'm missing out on something. You know, there has got to be a tablet in here somewhere I could take. I know there's a doctor a block away ready to provide me with anything I want. I've been doing this for over 30 years. There isn't a trick I can't pull. Back in LA, I had pills sewn into the hems of dresses, taped to the back of furniture. It wasn't the police that raided me, no. It was the family. And they're worse. See, when your sister finds a bottle of Benzedrine hidden in your panties, you don't even have the right to an attorney. I didn't need help. I needed pills. No one ever got a grip of that. When was it ever about what I want? I didn't make this. I was up at 4 a.m., 15 years old, 14 hours a day. Take this, swallow that. Even my own mother insisted I took every pill they gave me. No wonder I skipped down the yellow brick road. I could have flown down it. How could I stop? I could barely stand without those drugs, let alone sing. My God, Nikki, you've got to see the whole picture here. It's not this or that. Everything just comes at me at once and crashes from one thing to the other. I can't control it. Why can't you see that? I can see how it is for you, so why can't you see how it is for me? Let's talk now about your concerts at the Talk of the Town. 6 whole weeks. I think they're trying to see how many shows I can do before I fall over. I'm sorry, that was very rude. I'm not quite myself today. Please forgive me. You must come have dinner with me after the show one night, okay? Oh, I'd love to. Good. Love to what? You invited me for dinner. Did I really? I am always just doing that. I'll invite anyone. One day they'll all show up and it'll be terrible, just terrible. It's really all. You know, I will tell you why I am distracted. It is that top you're wearing. It's kaleidoscopic. Oh, well, I expect you're focused on your concert tonight. I have a concert tonight. I wasn't getting anywhere. I can't do it anymore. It's just, I held my hand into that spotlight and I watched it tremble. That's how I know I'm going to lose control. Mickey, darling, how much longer do you think you can keep throwing me up there and expecting the best of me? I can't do it. Let's just go back to California and be done with it all. I hate this godforsaken place. Let me explain something to you. I have swallowed and vomited more drugs than you could possibly imagine. What I'm taking now is nothing compared to what I was taking at home. Amphetamines, narcotics, uppers, downers, cocktails of Benzedrine and dextrodrine, all washed down with alcohol. I was buzzing. You could have shoved cables into me and powered Manhattan. And where am I at the end of it all? Still standing. Center stage, boys, center stage, as long as they want me. I ruined my life once. I am not about to do it again. I need those, because without them, I can't do these things. I need a little bit of help. Yes, yes, I am insane, and it's all thanks to you for bringing me back to this hell. It's hell. I sing if and when I want to, and you are not getting me back on that stage tonight or any other night. This whole thing is a mess. Let's just take the first ship out of here. We'll have each other. We can get married and buy a small house somewhere quiet, and rest. You can hold me in your arms and won't tell anybody where we're going. It'll just be the two of us. We could bury her, Mickey. We could put Judy Garland deep into the ground and never see her again. No, please, I'm begging you. I can't do it. I'm all sung out. I can't do it. And finally, Judy, you've been singing on stage and in film since you were a child, your whole life. Do you ever think there'll come a time when you stop singing? Well, I don't really sing for myself. I do it for other people. And the minute the public doesn't want me to sing, then that will be the end. A day I'm sure will never come. And for those unlucky enough not to see Judy Garland at the talk of the town, here's a couple tracks from your wonderful recordings, each of them a classic, to ensure that you will live forever. Well, immortality would be very nice. Yes, I'd like that. Immortality just might make up for everything.
Bravo. Thank you, Ruby. It was also excellent. All right. Next up, we have Vaughn, and Lee is on deck. I guess this is PG-13 with some violence, graphic.
Yeah, definitely. Yes.
Okay. I don't know. Or bad family values, depends on how you define it.
All of the above, very PG-13.
All right, you good to go, Vaughn?
Once my camera is in a less bad spot, sure.
All right.
All right. If this is your first time seeing me perform, hi. I'm not like this in real life, I swear. There once was a boy. He had a little brother. The younger brother had been born beautiful, healthy, entirely without the ability to feel pain. Every night of every day of the older brother's life was devoted to scanning over his younger brother's body. Something was wrong with the boy's brain, but the older brother never really understood that part. What he did understand was that his brother's condition, combined with his father's absence and his mother's work schedule, meant that every responsibility that placed one within any distance of a heated stove, a knife, a lawnmower, was up to him. How do we quantify evil? Is it in our thoughts, our desires, our actions? Maybe there is no way to quantify evil. Maybe it just is. Lobster Boy by Dan Dietz. So while the younger brother came home from school and watched TV, rode his bike, played video games, the older brother came home from school and fixed the sink, cooked dinner, and more importantly, had no friends. So while everyone else looked at his younger brother and saw beautiful blonde hair, goofy big ears, and an ever-present grin, more and more he looked at his younger brother and saw that which makes me work, that which makes me tired, that which makes me alone. Which brings us to lobsters. There's a bit of a debate raging over whether lobsters, upon being tossed into a pot of boiling water, feel what we as human beings would recognize and categorize as pain. So imagine this boy's ears perking up when he hears his science teacher proclaim, without a hint of doubt, that lobsters lacking an apparatus capable of sensing pain almost certainly also lack the ability to feel fear. It was a simple plan that unfolded inside the boy's mind. If animals that do not feel pain consequently do not feel fear, then perhaps the best way to give a good jolt of shock therapy to his brother's nervous system was to scare the complete and thorough Jesus out of him. The thing about drowning is, it's not about the pain. It hurts by all accounts, but that's really secondary to the experience. No, the thing about drowning is it's all about the horror. It generates in one a fear that comes from a place deeper than even the brain. It brings about absolute physical panic. At least this was the thought inside the 14-year-old boy's mind as he rushed back from school to his neighborhood, within which sat his house, just outside of which sat its swimming pool, over which rested a heavy black tarp. In the end, the boy could only uncover about a quarter of the pool, but a quarter positioned directly over the deepest end was enough. It is astonishing to me what people assume about children, about what children are capable of. Picture in your head stars twinkling. Mozart composed the melody to Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star when he was just a boy. By 14, he'd written his first opera. Picture in your head a 14-year-old boy with an opera in his eyes. An opera. At 14. When it was dark out and the tarp surfaced nothing more than a black blob in the backyard, the older brother entered the younger brother's room and tossed a pair of boxing gloves onto his bed. The routine was understood. The younger boy donned his gloves and the two raced down the stairs together and out the back door. With a howl of joy, the younger brother leapt onto the surface of the tarp. The corner sank beneath his weight and the water sucked him right under. Now, the older boy's goal had always only been to instigate fear within the younger boy. He knows it must seem at best bizarre and at worst rather sick, but he saw it as a sort of gift. Picture in your head the corner of a tarp sinking, a body under the tarp flailing, a pair of lungs constricting, a gift given that it might benefit not only the receiver, but the giver as well. A younger boy panicking, an older boy watching, stars twinkling. For if the younger brother were to be scared deeply enough, he could regain his ability to feel pain, crying, gurgling, smacking against the tarp. And if he regained his ability to feel pain, he could be as afraid of it as the rest of us. An older boy by the pool, boxing gloves removed, bare hands revealed. And if he was as afraid of pain as the rest of us, he would seek to avoid injury. Bare hands sweating, black tarp waiting. And if he sought to avoid injury, it would no longer be necessary for the older brother to carry the entire load of the house upon his back, all without a mother or father around to guide, to assist, to offer more than a symbolic presence in his already ancient feeling life, crying, gurgling, muffled scream, and then, as if adding one last insult to the labor of his days, to check for injuries every night on a body that ought to know its own damn surfaces by now. Picture in your head stars. twinkling. A gift. But the factor the older brother had failed to account for was the disorientation that occurs when one is submerged underwater with no air and no light. So when it came time to lift the corner and pull it back, to expose his younger brother to the darkness and stars above, his brother wasn't there. He reached into the black water then, frantically searching for something. A blonde head of hair, a goofy ear, a gloved fist. He strained until it hurt, until every fiber of his arm from the shoulder blade to the fingertips was alight with what all but the lobster would recognize as pain. Nothing. There was nothing he could reach. The older brother reminded himself that he had almost certainly failed, that his younger brother probably didn't feel a thing and was up to and including the final moment of his life, almost certainly not scared. Remarkably, or perhaps not so, the word deliberate was never used to describe the crime. The older brother was assumed not to have committed the crime, much the same way he was assumed not to have written an opera. Which all had a strange effect on the older brother. He found himself unable to feel anything about the situation. Now, he recognized that at one point he had both adored and despised the little boy in an ever-shifting, ever-churning mixture, but now he could feel nothing. No guilt, no sadness, and certainly no pain. If you ask me, though, if you want to know what I think, I'd say he is actively attempting, on a nightly basis, to scare the complete and thorough Jesus out of himself.
Wow. Great job, Vaughn. I think Vaughn and Neil should go around doing bedtime stories for kids.
Yep. Only mice and dead brothers.
Wow, that was great. That was great. All right. Normally now we would be listening to Lee scrapily moving easels and visuals into place. So I suppose one silver lining to the online realm is that people can be set up and ready to go. And as I switch, oh, and you are. I had to get to gallery view. So there you are. All right. You know what? I'll do the further ado when you are when you're done. So without any ado right now, Lee, if you are ready, we're good for you to go. And I'm sorry. And Clyde is on deck. All right. Thanks.
Can you guys see the edge of the vision? Great. Okay. When the Flint water crisis first occurred, millions of water bottles were sent to the community. At its height, the city was going through 20 million water bottles per day. It would take around 19 million bottles to wrap around the world once. And every day, Flint alone was producing that same amount. Once these bottles are empty, they're seemingly worthless. They'll collect in landfills and sit in the earth for 450 years. That is, until Genesee came along. Allie Rose Van Overbeck had been working for years in the New York fashion industry when she returned to Michigan for the holidays. She learned of the water crisis in Flint and instantly signed up to volunteer. She was delivering plastic bottled water to the residents when she wondered what happened to the bottles after use. The answer is very little. While recycling programs had been created and were being encouraged, these bottles were still piling up. Allie Rose was enraged and jumped into action. While she didn't know how to solve the water crisis, she did have her background in design and enlisted the help of friend Jack Burns. Together, they developed a way to turn this excess of single-use plastic back into usable products, all while developing jobs that would benefit the community. This came in the form of glasses made out of the wasted plastic. They named their company Genucy, a play on the county where Flint is located. And in May 2018, Genucy was born. Each pair of Genucy's glasses is made from 15 plastic bottles. The bottles are reduced into pellets and then melted and formed into the frames. Genucy offers a wide variety of glasses. First, as far as prescription glasses go, Genucy offers both single vision and progressive lenses. You can choose to add on blue light filtering or transition lenses, and for the sunglasses, polarized lenses are available. Genucy has also been able to fill a need created by the pandemic and now offers fog-free lenses for any frames. These can be worn with masks or without and are guaranteed to stay clear in all conditions. Now, when I first heard of this company, my first thought was, well, I don't wear glasses, so I don't think this is for me. But then I looked closer. They don't only make prescription glasses. All of their frames are available non-prescription or in blue light filtering form, should you simply care to make a fashion statement. I personally wear their sunglasses. At this time last year, Genucy offered 6 frame colors. Now they have 10. With custom orders, you even have the ability to combine different colored arms, eyepieces, and lenses, making the combinations limitless. These glasses are for sale on Genucy's website, genucy.com. If you buy direct from the website, there is free shipping inside the US. They've even implemented a virtual try-on experience on the website, so you can see how great the glasses look from the comfort of your own home. Genucy's frame style is especially unique. While this is currently the only style they sell, it looks good on anyone. They have been democratically designed, which means they were designed to fit all face shapes and styles. Genucy has poured all they can into making sure that this is the most comfortable and stylish frame you could want. Now, my first assumption was that because these glasses are made of plastic, they might feel flimsy or even cheap. I was completely wrong. They feel sturdy, but not too heavy, and they even stood up to my dog's teeth when I accidentally left them laying out. The arms don't pinch the side of your head, but they don't slide off your nose either. They're neither too long nor too short, and the overall cost proves Genucy is the best. But let's take a look at the stats just to be sure. Genucy's bronze sunglasses start at just $99 and are made from 100% post-consumer recycled water bottles. Let's compare them to these similar glasses, a pair of Ray-Bans and a pair of Rains. The Ray-Bans base price is $158, almost $60 more than the price of Genucy's glasses, and that's without a prescription. These glasses are made out of propionate, which is a lightweight nylon-based plastic. Needless to say, it's not recycled, and I wouldn't let my dog anywhere near a pair of Ray-Bans. The Rains are even more expensive at $170, still just their starting price. They're made out of acetate, which is also completely unrecycled. Genucy has a remarkable impact on the community around them through local activism in Flint. Genucy also upholds their no-waste goal from start to finish by implementing a trade-in program for their glasses at the end of their lives. So not only are the glasses made out of what was once wasted plastic, they won't return to being waste again. This is something that is not a part of Ray-Ban or Rain's business model. Genucy's price, environmentally friendly materials, and overall sustainability clearly outshine the competition. Now let's talk about Genucy's circular business model. But what does that really mean? Well, currently, our economy is incredibly linear. We buy products, we use them, and then we throw them away with little consideration for what actually happens once they're out of our sight. A circular economy is one that uses products and materials that can be reused rather than thrown away. It's designed to keep waste out of the system, keep the products in use, while designing them to be used cyclically. For example, Genucy engages in a buyback program for their old frames. Once you're done with the glasses, Genucy buys them back for 20% credit towards your next purchase, and they'll even accept non-Genucy manufactured frames. After evaluating the wear and the quality of the used frames, they'll do one of 3 things: recycle the materials back into their supply chain, refurbish and resell at discount value, or donate to those in need. They call it closing the loop, and it's the key to this circular economy goal. But this circle extends past the glasses themselves. Genuice's frames are made with bottles from Flint inside the Flint city limits, providing living wage jobs to Flint citizens. As part of their quest to give back to the community of Flint, Genuice collaborates with the organizations Flint Promise and the Community Foundation for Greater Flint. This past holiday season, Genuice donated $10 from every pair of glasses purchased to the Flint Kids Fund, which supports children who have been exposed to lead. In addition, the majority of Genuice's employees are hired through Flint's MAID Institute, an organization that helps displaced workers find jobs in the community. Even with the pandemic, Genuice hasn't been sitting still. They've released new products while still keeping up their commitment to Flint. This past winter, Genuice collaborated with local artists to design specialized frame colors that help support several charitable organizations, including the Flint Women and Girls Fund. This is all a part of their philosophy of giving back. Founder Allie Rose says the company is a by Flint, for Flint effort. Genuice was born out of a crisis, but continues to revitalize both the people and the economy around them. The core of Genuice's philosophy is to have a positive impact on their community, making them a truly trailblazing company. Genuice's mission is to do good for people and the planet, using design and collaboration to be the change we want to see. So don't just think about making a change, be the change with Genuice.
Thank you, Lee. That was wonderful. I also want to add, we're not supposed to talk about what school we're from in a speech, but the founder, Allie Rose, is a Roeper alum, and she came back. If you missed her, it was a really informative set of speeches, I guess, that she gave, or interactions about Genuice and her interactions. And she's a Flint resident, and she's dedicated like 110% to this. So Lee, having you do this speech is our own little full circle, you know, doing a speech about an alum, helping the alum push a product that's out there to save the world.
And you told me about the product in the first place, Dan. So thank you for that.
I guess you just have all sorts of amazing people involved. Allie Rose is great, and thank you for bringing this out in the world. All right, awesome. Well, I guess Clyde will hold the door for Lee so Lee can bring the visuals out in the hall. And then Clyde is next, and Senia will be closing off this evening's forensics night after Clyde. So, all right, Clyde, you look as ready as a Clyde can be.
All right, thank you, Dan. Before I get started, I just wanted to quickly say two things. First of all, to all of the coaches, just thank you. Thank you for working with us on all of our pieces. Just, you guys are amazing. And also, at the end of forensics night, y'all should check your emails for something. It's a mystery. But anywho, is this space okay? No like issues with that? Okay, awesome. Force of habit from the tournaments. All right. Hogbone and his gang rode into the little town of Calic one dusty afternoon. Townsfolk ran off to hide as Hogbone and his 15 men pulled up their horses in front of the bank. Hey, Hogbone shouted, where's all the chickens in this coop, huh? How about it? Where's your sister sheriff and his girlfriends? Ha ha! Bring him out so we can shoot him for a while. Ha ha! Ah. Well, shucks. This ain't no fun. Heck, I was looking for a little trouble. At this moment, Wally crawled out from under a horse trough and stood before the Hogbone gang. If you want some trouble, Wally said, I could give you some trouble. When his hometown is threatened, how does one scrawny kid manage to stand up to an entire gang? This isn't your typical Western. Join Wally in the dastardly, if not too bright, Hogbone Gang in this tale of brains versus brawn, or more accurately, neurons versus numbers. The Contest's a Cowlick by Richard Kennedy. Most trouble you give me is sticking between my teeth when I tie you up. Laughed the gang. Shut up, said Hogbone. Well, I'm the fastest runner anywhere around here. Oh, I bet I could win a foot race with your 5 best men. Ooh, well, ain't that a pretty howdy-do? I just reckon we might use a little fun. Alligator, black whip, snake bite, gouge eye, Crumby. Get down here and do a little leg stretching. The 5 men got down off their horses as Wally drew a line in the dust. We'll race down the street, around the corner, and into McGee's livery stable. 5 men hitched up their pants, kicked their spurs off, sailed their hats out of the way, and dropped, boom, their gun belts and hunched down on the line beside Wally. Ready? Wally asked. Ready, the men grunted. Hogbone held up his 44. On your marks, get set, blam! The runners jolted across the line. Wally ran last, all the way down the street. Some townsfolk came out of hiding and watched as the runners raced by. When Wally made it to McGee's livery stable, all 5 men were inside, laughing at him as he jogged up to the door. Wally smiled and slammed the heavy door on them and bolted it shut. Then he slowly made his way back to Hogbone and the remaining 10 men of the gang. They beat me. They got a drink and sprawled out in the straw. I got a bad starter. I could have beaten them, so that didn't count much. But I'll give you another try. Pick 5 men, and I bet I can, climb faster than any of them. You're a sassy little mouse. Horse blanket, saddle horn, cinch, right spur, yank bit, get over here. The 5 men got over there. We'll need 2 long ladders set up against the side of the church. Now, you 5 men go up that ladder, and I go up this one. And I mean to beat you all to the top. This'll be good. We might even have a neck break. Blam! The climbers jumped at their ladders and clambered up. All 5 men were up and across the roof before Wally was even at the top of his ladder. He stopped climbing and looked down. More townsfolk had come out of hiding to watch the contest. Some were carrying guns. Darn. You guys sure are good climbers. Well, ain't bad yourself for a sprout, said Horse Blanket. They beat me fair, but I got one last contest. I know I can beat those last 5 men out. Come on down up there, you little rooster, and I'll give you a last chance. You fellas comfortable up there? But can you see pretty good? Best seat in the house, said Yankbit. Well, it's a cinch, said Cinch. So Wally left the men on the roof and climbed down. I know I don't look so strong. You look like my little bitty sister. Maybe so, but I can lift my horse over there. He pointed to a small pinto tied to a rail. Well, I gotta see that, even if he is a rugged horse. All right, then it's a contest. I bet I can lift my horse, and I bet your 5 men there can't lift those big pigs they're riding. Bump, stump, crump, jump. Get over here with your horses! Now, if you never lifted a horse before, I can tell you, it's a bit tricky. You gotta get right underneath and lift straight up. Trouble is, the horse wants to slide off your back. So, what you gotta do is tie them on real tight. Here, get underneath your horses and I'll show you how it's done. Some of you people, give a hand here. Wally took a lasso from Bum's horse and tied it around over the top of the saddle and around under Bum's belly. All 5 men were tied underneath their horses and you sure got some pretty funny ideas. Yeah. Pretty funny. Then he walked up to the church and pulled both ladders away. Boom! Yangbitch shouted from the roof. How are we gonna get down from here? At this moment, Hogbone began to catch on. He pulled out his 44 and pointed it right between Wally's eyes. The townsfolk began to catch on too, and some of the men pointed their rifles at Hogbone. Now, 5 of your men are locked in McGee's livery stable, and 5 are stuck on the church roof, and 5 are tied underneath their own horses. And it looks like you can't do much alone. I can blow your head off. Won't do any good. My friends here won't like that. Besides, you can have your men back and all the money in the bank if you can holler louder than me. Har, har! Hollering goddess! You think I got to be the boss of this game for nothing? Wah-ha, wah-ha, wah-ha. Shut up! The men shut up. Well, you holler first. Okay. Give me some air, sucking room. Whoa! Not bad, but I can do better. Oh, if you took your gun belt off, you could get more wind. Ah, that's a fact. Boom. Yo! Take your hat off and toss your head back more. On his 7th try, the sheriff and his men, who had been just a holler up the creek, rode up quietly behind Hogbone and took him by the arms. Hogbone was so winded from hollering that he didn't even put up a fight as the sheriff and his men hauled him off. The rest of the Hogbone gang were rounded up and clapped in jail with him. As Wally passed by the jail window, Hogbone glared out at him. Pretty funny. Har, har, har. Shut up!
Thank you, Clyde. Oh my goodness. I think we have enough energy to power a small town between all of these, or even a large town between all of these performances. Oh goodness. Well, this has been wonderful. We have one more performance, performer and performance, Senia. And then we have a few closing remarks, and that will be it for the evening. So Senia, are you feeling like all your tech and space are working with you?
Yep, I'm just fixing my camera.
Sure thing.
Okay. Okay, just a few maintenance things. Number 1, my floor is really creaky, so I'm sorry if you hear a bunch of creaks. And it's also raining, so you might hear some rain. And Clyde kind of already started this for me, but before I start, I just want to say like a big thanks to all the coaches this year, just everybody who helped out, but specifically the coaches, Dan, Jafar, and Laura, because couldn't have done this without you. So yeah, can't say judging time already, so start. Give me your hand. Make room for me to lead and follow you beyond this rage of poetry. Let others have the privacy of touching words, of love, of loss of love. For me, give me your hand. Loss comes in many forms. In some ways, it can be a learning experience, but it can also be tragic. Many people find this too hard to withstand and bury their emotions to cope. While navigating this web of emotions is difficult, These authors show it is always worth the wait. Loss of Love, a poetry program, including A Conceit and Touched by an Angel by Maya Angelou, When Do I Think of You by Sherry Hildebrand, and there are poems in which I'm honest and longing by Anonymous. I think of you in the morning before the sun rises. When in the still of darkness, my heart feels your presence, your love, your tenderness, your slow rhythmic breathing as you sleep, and I am at peace. I think of you when the first rays of sunlight spill like a waterfall between the blinds and settle in my eyes. I reach my hands, my foot, any body part will do to touch you and breathe you in. It beats my heart, my soul, my spirit, and I am at peace. I think of you at noon, when the sun is at its highest, when the heat warms my skin and causes my eyes to close with sheer pleasure. Thoughts of you surround me, envelop me, overpower me. Images of you swirl around like a funnel cloud, sucking into its grasp all that it touches, and I am at peace. There are times in which I feel I have already forgotten you. But those don't happen as often as when you pass through me like a feeling, going about your business, touching my core, wounding it, and then moving away without warning. I see you in lights dancing in my room. For a while, what bliss. But lights fade too without notice. That's how I understood why they draw your face as if they know you very well. This morning, I left the kettle screaming. It is hard to listen to any sound other than confusion, which is louder. Yet how I want to let it linger a bit longer, distracting from trying to understand you like a language, but failing. Dear, I knew leaving. I had grown used to the sound of it, but never like this. Never when leaving left me longing. Longing is a thing you taught me. Longing is an insect that stings. Longing is a song on repeat. Longing is a period drama that said it was every day implied, but never declared. Longing is a place I do not want to be at. Longing is a music festival with a sea of 1,000 faces, but with yours I'm trying to find. Longing is a quiet bench by the park. Longing is me forgetting what beer tastes like without your memory in it. Longing is me wanting to tell you about my drunken nights. You used to know about those nights. Now I only talk to you in dreams. In one dream, I touched your hand. I didn't see your face, but I knew it was you. Like the pain that tapped my shoulder so that I could wake up. It had no skin I could tear off, but I knew it came from you. I sometimes sit by the window, trying to feel only the wind. But there you are again, making me think about the day you told me you were stuck 4 hours in traffic. I laughed that it surprised you. Tell me about the ghosts inside your bedroom, and I will tell you about mine. How they fade away when you're nearby. Have you heard of this feeling? How I wanted to die. Just tell me you're close by, or tell me you're far from here. Just tell me anyhow, for I do not know when I will ever stop waiting. Dear, I have been locking the doors hundreds of times. It wasn't my brain that told me I should. It was November, but I want you to know I still have my windows open. Dear, I am terribly confused. I am afraid to be the forest, still be here waiting, even after you burned me to the ground, when I used to be the wildfire, the one that burns, the one that devours, the one that doesn't wait. But now I'm the ash, defeated. longing to rise once again back to myself, longing to not feel you anywhere, longing to not feel. But dear, I am still terribly confused. We, unaccustomed to courage, exiles from delights, live coiled in shells of loneliness until love leaves its high holy temple and comes into our sight to liberate us into life. Love arrives and in its train comes ecstasies, hold memories of pleasure, ancient histories of pain. Yet, if we are bold, love strikes away the chains of fear from our souls. We are weaned from our timidity in the flush of love's light. We dare be brave, and suddenly we see that love costs all we are and ever will be, yet it is only love which sets us free. I think of you when the sun is setting and its final rays of light begin to fade. I can hear your voice deep, soft, and slow inside my mind. Words of beauty, joy, friendship, and everlasting love. My heart begins to sing a love song so sweet and so gentle that I cannot wait to share my day with you and yours with me, and I am at peace. I think of you when the sun has set, in the stillness of the moon displaying one of its many wondrous phases. Thoughts of your smile, your laugh, and your eyes create a feeling that is impossible to express with just words. The need to touch you, to feel you, to drink you in is almost too much for me to hold inside. Anticipation of you is the greatest gift. I am at peace.
Thank you. Wow. Well, gang, you all took a cold, rainy spring afternoon, evening into the night and brought us through, I think, every emotion, turned it into a space where I think we could escape to, and along with other folks who enjoy that kind of escape. Yeah, I got a little misty-eyed too. Yeah, this is, I'll say it again, the passion and energy that you all put into your performances, everyone tonight, is transformative, and it transported me, and I know others, into a space that's more familiar, you know, the one where we just sit and enjoy each other's company and share with each other. And what I think forensics is, what I saw tonight is a kind of concentrated sharing where you worked really hard to bring us there, and you did it. So yeah, we're incredibly proud of each and everybody here. So thank you all very much. And again, thank you to anyone who's watching. It's hard to express the weirdness of this. I'm sure many of you know it, but I'm talking to 12 squares, but I know there are other people out there. So we really appreciate you showing up, the folks from far and near. And again, all the support the students have given each other. And so let's hear it one more time for all of the students, 6th through 12th graders. Hello. And thanks again to everyone who's coached, Laura Moore and Jafar Boumediene. There aren't enough thanks in the world for the way you've carried the team, and the team has carried us. So please, yes, please have a wonderful evening. Normally we mingle afterwards. I feel kind of awkward, like we should, I think last year we kind of hung out in Zoom for a few minutes.